So right here are things that only the strangest and most messed up toy collectors collect. Vintage shipping cases. Still really cool stuff. You'd appreciate it, but they actually have value, which shocks a lot of other collectors, even especially non-toy collectors. They're like, why would you pay for that? Like, it's still pretty damn cool. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, original Kenner shipping case from the 80s. Laramie Super Soaker wannabe shotguns. Japanese Power Ranger Sentai shipping case. Random. There you go. Original Kenner Aliens to Predator Clan Leader Deluxe. Jurassic Park 3 Electronic Deluxe Biting and Dino Assortment. Batman Returns Japanese shipping box from Takara. Yeah, you go find one of those in the wild. Japanese Episode 1 Darth Maul lightsaber shipping case from Tomy. And these are just the actual Hasbro Kenner ones, but they're being distributed by Tomy in Japan. Original shipping box. Isn't that nuts? And Pokemon battle figures. Roar. Isn't that just crazy? Extremely tough to find some of that stuff. And they do carry some values, but usually the average like $50 each. Sometimes the vintage Star Wars ones can hit like a couple hundred. That being said, let's continue. All right, no chit chat. Let's just get into this because we had so much of a long intro last time. Okay, we got Luke Skywalker's butt. I like how the Epic Force is sliding down inside the container. He's facing away. He's shutting himself from the world. He's like, I know I suck. I mean, look at this. It just spins. Like, I don't understand. It's like so archaic. It's so below me or beyond me. It's hard to tell. Rotate figure 360 degrees. It would be kind of funny if they stopped and said, like, no, you can only rotate it 300 degrees. They had to confirm it was 360 degrees. Because there's collectors out there who are like, if that's not 360, I ain't buying it. Oh, it's 360. I'm buying it. Man, they made some weird stuff back then. So this is just the fun, stupid stuff. I forgot about these, to be completely honest with you. They're uncommon to find. I just think it'd be more uncommon to find a collector who actually wants this in their house. Probably worth about $10. We're going to let it go, even though I'm finding some... Because it's so awful, I'm intrigued now about just keeping it again. And just, no, it's all good, man. Let's put it off this side. Wow, what's this? Convertibots. So this is a bootleg of Combatra, one of the 70s combiner robots from Japan. But today he is known as Enforcer FX7. No, it's FX. See how I rolled into Star Wars right off the bat. FX6. It's just a cheapy bootleg. Probably really hard to find stuff like this nowadays. The knockoff market in general for Transformers has expanded heavily. Someone sold a Flying Sludge knockoff from the Prehistory series, but in the multicolored colors, which is more harder to find than the original Prehistory one, for like $4 loose. I was like, what? But I get it. This not being Transformers, not much money involved. I love all the transforming robot weird stuff. I like it when it's not really a pure knockoff. Like this one is more of just a knockoff and creating something unique out of it. Like the 4-star taking Bombshell, the Beetle from Transformers Insecticon, and turning it into a Scorpion. That was unique. Not so much on this. Probably like $15. Let's see. We got the Battle Copter. Is it open? Is it sealed? I think it's sealed. Dude. So this is a absolutely... I bought the show for $16. $10.99 at KB. That's pretty damn pricey back in the day. Sold for $7.99, and then the reseller was like, I gotta get 16 out of it. So it's still sealed, it looks like. Yep. Comes with the figure. So these are the later years of G.I. Joe, not the final years, but you're at the point where it wasn't as exciting. The figures were more bland to me than the cartoon characters that we all grew up with. Not many of these out there. They're more uncommon because less was produced. The market originally was pretty cheap because nobody cared. It was not the original cartoon characters. And then the market finally bent into these series, the Battle Core series, and they're much more difficult to get than people really realized. Now they've all dried up, especially. This piece probably worth about 150, 100 a quarter, maybe sealed, and it should still be out there. The biggest issue is not really that's sealed or it has a figure of Ace. Ace is pretty damn ripped there. Look at that. Jesus. It's the fact that this thing was a piece of... And this thing never could fly. This never flew. The gliders. There was an HBO TV documentary. This is how old I am. So in the 90s, there was a documentary about making commercials and the lie of them, the mystique of them. And they actually had this being one of the pieces they talked about. So for the commercial shoots, they actually put motors inside of these so the propellers would spin and the kids could simulate the flying. Yeah, pull zip cord to send copters sky high my ass. This thing went up like a foot and then just fell to the floor. It was just, it's a piece of crap. But at least you got a figure with it. And that made it okay. Because when you get that action figure and you think that the toy is just kind of like, meh, just toss it off to the side. Still pretty neat. I don't have much sealed original stuff like this. G.I. Joe vehicles in general. I like Joe's. I have more carded stuff than I got vehicles. So it's kind of a nice surprise to be like, oh, I still have some oddball sealed vintage stuff here. Though it's later vintage. I'm going to keep it, of course, because, you know, might as well. But I'm still $16. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Let's see. Let's get the bank out of here. So the banks are iconic. The C-3PO and R2-D2 is more iconic than the Vader, but the Vader is still pretty much up there. I think Wade just really made some killer stuff. And I'm having a tough time trying to explain that I really do enjoy this piece. I had an R2-D2 when I was younger, and it's okay to let it go. But this really is a piece that a lot of people had. Kids did enjoy these things. The animatronics, no matter how basic they are, the sword lit up. It was a really nice piece, and I doubt it was going to work. Yeah, I'd be shocked. But this was great stuff, and they're not worth much, but they were just... It's like everybody has. It's like a Garfield phone almost. Everybody had this. And it's okay to let it go. And sorry for the quick cut. That was the camera poo-pooing out. This, oh my God, it's the Captain Power Jet. So I grew up watching this on TV. And I mean, growing up, I mean, like I was too young to be like, what the hell is this? And then they told you you're supposed to have a toy that interacts with it when it was live on TV. And I wanted it so bad. Because when you're that young, like you're just so impressionable. I was just like, oh my God, this is the greatest goddamn thing I've ever seen. I remember just to this day, I remember like looking at the TV and seeing like the ships flying around. You're supposed to interact with them. It was expensive. Like the toy action figures are really cool. Mattel did a great job, but the interaction, laser, the cost of it all, Photon from LJN, everything was just expensive. And that kind of just poo-poos over the sales because I'm sorry, like it's expensive as hell for a kid's toy. But the artwork is really super sweet on that package. So a lot of this stuff, the Phantom Striker and this power ship, I got flipped over, sorry about that. They ended up being on massive discount at this Evans. We got a ton of these and nobody cared. Even when we go to Japan, they actually had Captain Power figures in Japan and nobody cares. You can get a box Phantom or this Power Jet unused Japanese package for like $20 all day long. Granted, I think the market's changed a little bit and they're asking more because they're all crazy. I just think it's hilarious that we have a Batman with a forever wing in here for the Batwing. So we got a Energizer. This was so common. You would go to the toy shows and you would still find stuff in the mid-2000s from Captain Power, Captain Planet, Captain Everything. You know, all those toys are available, the non-Star Wars stuff cheap. These would be dead stock sealed for like $10 each because nobody gave a rat's butt. It's just how it was, man. Got the booklet. Anybody else in there? So I think most of it's in here. Yeah, it's got the... cool that thing is. Not even yellow too, so I think I'll keep this. The injection seats there, the canopies there, stickers are applied nicely. Nice. I think that actually is, yeah, that's both styrofoam pieces in there. So yeah, this is nice. I might have There might be more of these kicking around. We're going to find out. Let alone a loose one now. I don't need a loose one if I have an ice box open one, sticker supplied. So that's great. There might be in one of those boxes there, the larger vehicles. We'll figure that out later. More space, but yeah. That is a great line. And I actually finally did get the Dread Commander and Dread Trooper, which are the final villain figures, which are very, very hard to get. But we'll get into that another time. Return to Oz. So I'm a weird kid, and yeah. So as a kid, this was a movie I enjoyed and I was horrified. If you've seen this movie, it sticks with you. So when Dorothy is getting electroshock therapy in the beginning of the film, that scared me. It still kept with me for a long time. The Wheelers were not as creepy to me as it was for other people. It was the deadly desert. The fact that you just touch the desert and you're dead. And there's a lot of things in this movie. Oh my God. Still love it, the movie. Like, I'm growing up and appreciating all the love with this. But I keep a lot of this stuff. Return to Oz stuff in general is very uncommon to find. The puzzles, the games, the toys. And we'll get into that later because long ago, back in the mid-90s, when I was a kid going through toy shows and talking to people, because you're just like those kids, like talking to everybody. Somebody somewhere mentioned to me that they made Return to Oz action figures in Japan. And that stuck with me for years and years. And of all the crazy things that happens in this world, they were damn right. And they are absolutely cool as hell. They're very expensive, very rare. And I do have them now. But in general, I love all Return to Oz stuff. I don't buy any more of this stuff. I have a couple things here and there. But fantastic art. Horrifying movie. Thank you, Walt Disney, for making great stuff compared to now. Like that, Labyrinth, a lot of those oddball pieces are just hard to get. And there is a strong fan base behind it, unexpectedly. So we are off to the Mutant Marauder. This was dead stock sealed, but it looks like I got a little humidity damage here, and it's coming apart. So technically still sealed. Look at that, $30. I don't think I paid the 30. That's kind of crazy that it's marked like that. It's pretty expensive for mid-2000 purchases. So as a teenager when it came out, I like my turtles, but you just don't get into certain things. One of these things I just collected because it was turtles, but I never watched the show. I never got into it. I'm assuming the vehicle is pretty uncommon at this point. You go to toy shows, you're going to find vintage turtles. You're going to find carded, wonderful Playmates, 1988 to 1985 turtles. You do not find much Next Mutation stuff. Now, it's out there. It's not as loved, not as valuable, but I think this piece is going to have a strong value still. I like how they did on the Hummer because that was the in thing of the time. It doesn't have the pizzazz of the original Turtle Party Wagon. Right down there. It just looks blandish. But then again, it's based on a more reality. Actual suits, not a cartoon. So I get that. I'm going to let it go. I'm at that point where it's like, you guys need to understand when you were collecting toys, when you're a kid in the 90s and everything, you're just buying up everything because you're an idiot. But also in the mid-2000s, everything was pretty cheap. You could go out there if you had the space, which is what I thought I had, to buy everything. It was a fair price. Nobody cared about turtles. People collected G.I. Joes, Star Wars, and Transformers. They had value, not compared to now, but the Voltron, the Power Rangers, the Zoids, the She-Ra, the Laser Tag, all of this stuff nobody cared about, and it was all dirt cheap. And you could just pick it up for nothing. So mentally, you could pick up an entire collection of everything packaged and loose with the time dedication, because the money wasn't the problem, as it is mainly the big problem right now, because everything's just overpriced. But, that dream's long dead. You don't have to be completist. I got that now. And I don't have a passion for the vehicles from this series. The figures are fun. I have a loose ones, but I don't need a Mutant Marauder dead stock. Now, if this is worth over $100, it's probably best to just take the money and run. But we'll check it out. We'll let this thing go. It's all good. So I said we got to let stuff go. What do we got here? We have the Python Patrol Stinger vehicle. Oh my God, with the driver. Still sealed in the original bag. So this series is very difficult to get now and very expensive. I did a little bit of research on some of these exclusives. This is up to $1,000, I believe. Isn't that crazy? But I get it because it's a vintage vehicle. It's repainted, badass deco. Python Patrol is massively beloved. I personally like this stuff. I mean, it's good money, to be honest with you. So my part of me is just like, take the money. But also the other half's like, you're not going to get this thing ever again. And for now, I'm just going to keep this stuff because that's the stuff that's not going to go down in value. That's the stuff that people always be looking for. Now, if it was a repaint from Joe Con of a newer Valor versus Venom vehicle, I'm more inclined to let that stuff go. But there's stuff down here I want to get rid of first for the volume of it versus the Momo. The Momo still is nice. What do I got here back here? So now we have Tiger. Oh, look at that. The Tiger Force Stinger with bazooka. Still sealed. Still sealed. Very nice. So I don't think this is as strong as the Python Patrol, but probably stores up a couple hundred at least on that. So that's really nice. Now here's another piece of Teen Titans. We got both box sets. Look at that. We got Beast Boy and his scooter from the episode, and we have Robin and his R-Cycle. So, yeah, it's crazy. I always mentioned this earlier, that Teen Titans is exceptionally popular. Well-written show. Everyone loved it. Bandai did a fantastic job with the posability of the figures, the design, 3.5 inch, the 5 inch. I knew it was a great investment. So I picked up quite a lot of it on discount. Sat on it. Teen Titans Go comes out. Everyone loves Go. It's just, that's about it. It's over. Like, the market went up a bit on Teen Titans, then it went down. Some went back up a little bit, but that's it. After all these years, which is almost 20 years now, which is horrifying to say that, to be honest with you, the market's not there. This is probably worth about $30, and that's it. No one's clamoring for my dead stock AFA gradable Teen Titans Beast Boy the transforming moped. Will the market ever come? I don't know anymore. I really don't. I don't know if the people who grew up with Teen Titans as a kid even care to get these things back. It's just crazy that Teen Titans being so big as it was and still is, they don't have much value. And at this point, I can't keep sitting on this stuff to be like, oh, I hope it's worth money. I do like these things, but we're at that point now, like, I don't even need them for my collection too. Like, we have to move on. So I'll let these things go, but it's just one of those disheartening things where I was really confident. The package design, the colors, just Bandai always does a great job. And then nobody cares. And these are uncommon. These are from the final series. These are the blue boxes. So I have to let it go. We need the space. We need to move on with life. Clear up this shelf. See, we got a shelf cleared. Isn't that awesome?